yet. Crap. Oh, there we go. Finally. Jeez Louise. Okay, I'm going to go post this on the website. It's never a good sign that it takes that long to log in. The internet is full, people. Today we are going to be working on paste. Oops. I'm prepping for the wrong class. We're what the heck? We'll get them all together. Update. All right, so now we got that, and I'm gonna go get rid of this. This is not true. That delete. That's not true. Hi, everybody. Come on in, sit down, get your ukulele tuned up. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. Um, it is 12 o'clock. I thought I was on the 1 o'clock class. 12 o'clock class. This is Intro to Ukulele. Uh, Second to last episode of our 6-week extravaganza. There's actually just short of 6 weeks worth of work in this program. And today we are playing, by the way, if you haven't been to the website, jollyrogerukulele.com, you should go there. And then what we're playing today, which I have incorrectly notated on our front page. When are we playing? I'll edit it when we post. Today we are playing Aloha Oi, and then we are playing For Elise and Ode to Joy. That's my plan. So somebody who is logging in lets me know if the sound is good. YouTube has been fighting it today. It's been fabulous, and the sound is good. Okay, good. Thanks, Vic. The internet is full. We've been having some challenges with getting logged in, staying logged in. We're going to be thankful that we have this at all, and we are going to be delighted if we make it to the end of the class. What ended up happening, I think, is that all the schools had to decide to go entirely online, and so here we are. The internet's full. Today we're playing Aloha Oi, so let's go ahead and pull that out. And be kind of a short class today, I think. Aloha Oi is kind of hard to play, so we go through it, and we will make sure that it's making some sense. And you know why you would play a song like that? That's always one of these bigger issues is, hey, I'm playing this song, I don't know why. And every single thing in my intro class from day one to the end is there for a reason. I've been teaching it a long time. The songs that didn't work, I got rid of. The songs that did work, we kept. And every single piece of sheet music in level 1 or book 1, as I call it, is there for a reason. Aloha Oi is absolutely there for a reason. So as you're looking through it going, I don't know this song very well, I do want you to have it. Lynn, hey, how are you? I'm on time, exclamation point. Time, right? It's a pandemic. Time is roughly in this neighborhood. And Janice is here. How exciting to see you, Janice. Good to see you. Logging in from Scotland. 2 years ago now, I went spent a little over 2 weeks in Scotland. And if there was any way that I could stop being where I am and move to there, I would do it in a heartbeat. It is the most beautiful, surprisingly hilarious, wonderful, over the top, great place in all of the world. Now, I do want to mention, Janice, I was there for the 2.5 weeks. It didn't rain a drop, and the weather was perfect. And it's if you ever go to Seattle and the sun is out, you're like, why would people live anywhere but this? This is the most beautiful place on earth. And then you go there when it's raining, and you're like, oh, now I understand why people don't want to all live up here in Seattle. Scotland's a little like that. It was just people hilarious, super nice. The national food of Scotland is Indian food, and I love that. And just a great experience. And I'm just devastated I can't just live there. It's just an awesome place to be. What are we playing today? I can't alphabetize to save my soul. When I'm busy thinking about Scotland. Aloha Oi, A-L-L. Aloha Oi. Gosh, there it is. Jeez Louise. All right, let's see if I can do. Hopefully, I'll do that. Never rains in Scotland. Stunning in haggis. Yeah, you learn pretty quickly in Scotland. Here's the things you learn. Here's what you learn about Scotland. Number one, it never rains. Number two, uh, actually that's not true. There was one day it rained. We were in Iona and we went over. Well, you go to Oban, which is this cute little town next to the water. I don't know if that's the ocean or what it is, but anyway, there's next to the water. You ride this little boat over to Iona, which has the one of the old monasteries on it, and it was raining that day. And which actually made it nicer. And then there's like they have Scottish cows hanging out, which have long hair, which are very cool. And we were walking along the path, and there's a little cafe, and then it says in the cafe there's warm muffins and delightful music, and come on in for a coffee. And if you keep going up the road, there might be Vikings. We don't know. You wouldn't risk it. That's the kind of attitude that's so awesome there. And then what else do I want to say about Scotland? So it never rains there. Two, you drive through the Highlands and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a stunning place to be. But there's these little things called midges that fly in your face and bite you, which is annoying. So if they could get rid of midges, I think Scotland would be the perfect country. And then the other thing you learn, which Janice mentions, their food is it's shocking how bad it is. I did one English breakfast and I'm like, this is not going to happen again. And so, and of course, that's probably inspired by the English, not the Scottish, but their food is horrendous. But everywhere you go, they have Indian food, which is the best Indian food I've ever, no question about it, had. And we have pretty decent Indian food here in Denver. So it's nice that you have options. We did go to the Loch, we went to the Loch Ness, and that whole area up there, it's there's a really nice town that you stay in, and then you can go visit that loch there, and a couple of old churches that have fallen apart 500 years ago and stuff like that. Just absolutely beautiful. The food is great, but I forgive you. See, there's Janice knows good and well she's having Indian food tonight as well, but she's she's on the Chamber of Commerce probably. I adored Scotland every single moment of it. Even eating that terrible breakfast is like, what, they really eat this every morning? And the girl's like, no, we don't eat. This is for tourists. All right. Hilarious. So glad you're here, Janice. That makes me very, very happy. Let Scotland know that this instrument's pretty cool. The other fun thing about Scotland is at night, you go down to the pub, and they always, not always, but lots of the pubs have live music in them. And so you sit and listen to live music, and everybody seems to know the song, and all the people come around, and it's very delightful. They're very delightful. And we spent I've been in Edinburgh many, many years prior. Edinburgh is another stunning, just like ridiculously beautiful place. And then this time we got to spend some time in Glasgow, which is more of an industrial town. Not quite as much fun, but definitely the coolest subway in the entire world. It's round. And so when they say it's a tube, it really is a tube. So yeah, really fun place. So if you haven't been to Scotland, make plans as soon as we get done with this bug. Let's get going and go over to Scotland. All right, so we're gonna play Aloha Oi. Here's why this is important. Okay, you're wrapping up level 1. Theoretically, you've been with me since October 5th, and you've gone through all of the lessons, and now you're a good ukulele player. When we get to Aloha Oi, it's pretty hard to play on here, and so we're going to talk about some strategies for thinking about, hey, where am I really at in my ukulele playing career? And when you watch me play, you see there are plenty of times that I'm struggling as well, because the music that we're working on is hard, and it's definitely high level, and it's definitely designed with this 17th century mentality, which is playing from tablature, playing one note at a time, adding in some chords when it's appropriate, creating this complete musical experience just with this instrument. Now, if you choose to sing and you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You get those skills as well. But really, we're talking about a very old fashioned way of playing a very modern instrument, in that we want to make this do all the work, and we just got to talk our fingers into hitting the right things at the right time. And so when we get to Aloha Oi, we then talk about the cultural heritage of what you have in your hands. This was originally a Portuguese instrument called a machete. And when in the late 19th century, around 1870s or so, a bunch of Portuguese cabinet makers went to Hawaii. They were hanging out there, and they started making instruments, and they were, of course, making instruments that they knew. And for some reason, a high G string got put on here, and that's when it magically becomes a ukulele. We don't have any records on exactly how that happened, but at some point a high G string ended up on here, so it's out of order from the others. And so you're playing this instrument, and then of course the Queen Liliuokalani, and I pretend to know how to say it, I can't pronounce it at all. There's a real queen of Hawaii, and she falls in love with this instrument, and she's actually, showing people around the island, sharing this with them, and pretty soon this little instrument becomes a rage. And the instrument survives the onslaught of white people in Hawaii. The royalty in Hawaii did not, and so she was the last queen of Hawaii who wrote this song. And so it's folk music in that sense. And if you go to Hawaii, every single luau you attend, every town you go to, and there's somebody singing, they sing it just a little bit different from town to town. So you have what I built this from is I found a piece of sheet music for, I think, 1910 or something, a very old piece of sheet music, and I built this off of that one. So this kind of goes closer back to the roots, but it will be sung by Hawaiians different ways in different places. Again, respecting that cultural heritage of, hey, we're going to play this song, but we are going to agree that if a Hawaiian says that's not right, they know what they're talking about. They know how they sang it in their town. This is the way we're going to do it. Q says, hey Q into beautiful and crisp day here in San Francisco. Okay, beautiful. Glad you're here. Q's been a regular attendee, and I appreciate it being here. Now, I don't remember if I updated your sheet music. Let me go peek. I think I did. I hope I did. Because there's a typo on my piece of paper, and I got to make sure you know about the typo. Let me make sure which copy of it I gave to you guys. Click. Yeah, the March 27th version. You have a typo on this one. At the very bottom, the very last chord in the ukulele melody line, it says 2010. That's an F chord. You don't want to play an F chord there. It's going to sound bad. You need to play 2100. So the very last chord in the ukulele melody tablature line is an A chord, not an F chord. So the A grid is sitting right there in number 17. And that's the chord you're going to want to play. Don't play an F chord because it will sound terrible when you hit there. So just mark that as a typo. One of these days I want to fix that so I don't have to talk about it every time. Other than that, the sheet music is fine. All right, so we've got to talk about chords, and the first chord is an A chord. Way back in week number 1, we talked about using A chord, D chord, and E7 chord in that little booklet where we did all of the kind of kid songs. They're not really kid songs, but they're back in the day we used to teach them to kids, and now we teach them Disney tunes, which is a clear downgrade, but that's what we do. A chord is this one, and then its buddy is the D chord. Okay, those hang out together. If you're playing a soprano and you have a normal, there's no such thing as normal. If you have adult size hands, soprano is probably too small for you to do a D chord effectively. That's why you're probably playing a tenor. Concerts are okay if you have shorter fingers, but for the most part, most adults should be playing a tenor. And then A chord goes to D chord, and then E7. Don't let it freak you out. It looks weird on the paper, but it's just a D chord with this finger moved back and this finger dropped down. So there's your E7. Okay. Now I don't sing this one because there ain't no hope that I can get these Hawaiian words out of my face. But we can at least get a general sense of how it goes. Da dum dum, da dum da 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 dum, dum 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 dum, da da dum da da dum, dum. Da da dum, da dum, da dum dum dum, dum, da da aloha, oi. Aloha, oi. Da da dum, da dum, dum, da da dum, da dum, dum, ba dum, 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 ba da 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 dum, until we meet again, and then finish up with your A chord. 3, 4, drum. Okay, so it's a nice pretty song. If you've never seen Elvis's Blue Hawaii, you got to go watch that video, and then you'll know why we're playing this song. Also, so we're taking the cultural heritage of our instruments. It's almost certain that Queen Lilio Kalani wrote this song on a ukulele. Almost certain. She loved this instrument, and it's theoretically possible she could have written on a guitar too. She knew guitar, but we want to believe she wrote it on this, so it's our song. And then the other reason that we play the song is Elvis sang it in Blue Hawaii. Okay, so you got a general sense of how the song goes. If you don't know it, and do take advantage of the fact on Jolly Roger Ukulele, the MP3 player over on the right hand column has all of the MP3s for every song I ever give out to you. And when I first started playing ukulele, none of that was available at all for any instrument. And now you can grab the piece of sheet music, go listen to the MP3 a couple of times as you're reading through the sheet music. You know what's supposed to come out of your instrument, and then you go down and study it. Much easier than going to YouTube and listening to 10 different versions of Aloha Oi, which are all different, and then grabbing a piece of sheet music and hoping you can sort of figure it out. You don't have to figure it out anymore. Just go listen to the MP3 on the website. It's exactly what's on your paper, and then you can start digging into it. All right, let's run through the melody. If you are level 1 or book 1 or kind of new to the instrument, this is the thing that matters. Being able to play melody is the thing that matters, because otherwise you have to sing. If you're a singer, that's great. You're probably not here anyway. But if you would like the ukulele to do the singing, you have to get melody out of it. And so let's take our time and walk through it. We've got 2 zeros on second string and first string. You got a 4. You're required by law. All 4s are played with your pinky. It's almost a rule. It's almost a rule. When you see a 4, you got to think pinky. And especially with this arrangement, it's going to not work any other way. Okay, so play the 4, then 2 O, 4 on the second string, O, and then 2. Let that ring for a little while. You see the half note above it, and then hit the 1. Another 4, couple of 2s, a 1, 2, 2, 5, 4. Now I use my pinky on the 5s and the 4s on this one because there's only a few 5s. A lot of times we will change positions to play 5s, but in this case I'm going to just push my pinky up the 5 and then bring it back to the 4s to get those. Okay, we got those 2s. Let's keep going. 2, O, O, 4, 2, O, 4, O, 2, O, 1, O, O, 2, 2, O, a couple of 4s, another 4, let it ring, O, O, 2, O, pinky on 5, 2, O, another 4, 16th notes, they're fast. Two, 3, 4. Okay, so put that nice little A chord on right at the end to finish up. Sounds pretty. All right, let's play it through one more time. Again, noticing you got your 5s and 4s are all pinky. So they'll play every single 4 and 5 with your pinky. Everything else lays out pretty nicely. You have some 1s, so you got to play in first position. Melissa says, couldn't get it right place. I couldn't get in the right place. Oh. Melissa walks in into the middle of the song, like, I don't know where we are. I'll just start playing and see what happens. Glad you're here, Melissa. All right. From the top, again, notice it's a quarter note equals 60. That means, man, this song is so low. Let it happen. Feel the waves in Hawaii. Maybe feel a hula dancer taking, usually hula dancers are moving kind of quick, but let this be slow, beautiful. Let it come to you. Don't rush it. And what's fascinating about it, the note lengths are important here. And so when I'm playing this song, I'm looking up at the standard notation. All right, quarter note is a full beat, half notes 2 beats, eighth notes are fast. Got a couple 16th notes down there in measure 10. Got to play those real fast. Okay, but other than that, I want the song to to develop and to become this feeling of, hey, a fond embrace, aloha, that type of thing. And so rushing through it is not what we would need to do on this song. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Into 5. Measure 7. Two, 3, 4. There we go. That sounds nice. Sounds beautiful, right? Let's see, Melissa. Hey, where's the award? I know I have my award up here yesterday. I put it over there. I know. I know. You guys were pressuring me for interior decoration. It's sitting over there. I don't know what I'm going to do with it quite yet. It'll get put up somewhere around here. I think this is fine, right? We have this weird instrument. We have a little a poster of France. We have kind of France, and we have music theory. What else do you need, peeps? Everything else will be a distraction. And my beautiful mug. All right, so you got the melody, you got the chords. Okay, so let's talk about putting them together. This is what we do. This is what instrumental players do. We take the melody, we add the chords in underneath it, and we play the song. Okay, so if you look through this song, if you take a minute to compare the tough uke to the ukulele melody line, one of the things that jumps out at you is that ukulele melody line is preserved exactly note for note in the tough uke line. And this is typical of every arrangement that I ever do. I fill in the melody, and then I go through and I double check that the chords are correct. And then I start by copying the melody line onto the tough uke line. And then all I have to do is go through and add in some chords where it's appropriate underneath the melody line. And so if you look at that melody line, what you were just playing, and look at the tough uke line, the top note all the way through is exactly the same as the melody. So nothing changes there. Not until I get to pretty advanced music do I start dinking around with that. The big thought here is, hey, I got to preserve this melody. The melody is the melody. It's really very rare for me to change the melody. And those are the chords. I often will change chords if I feel like it sounds better with a different chord. But most of the time I go with sort of the standard issue chords. And I just want those to be showing up in the right places when I can fit them in underneath the melody. And so as you look through here, tough uke, first two notes are melody, dun dun, and then I've got the melody note as a 4, but I've got an A chord, so I'm just adding in as much of the A chord as I can underneath that 4, and then I get that. Next note's a 2 in the melody, as well as in tough fugue, and then my next note's a 0 in the melody, so now I'm going to add in a D chord underneath that melody note, and it just works. Okay, so as you are thinking about, is this a style of play that I want to do? Do I want to put in the work and the time? What becomes clearer and clearer over time is that the melody, playing the melody, is something that you can really do from day one. You really can, from once you understand how Frere Jacques works, all of the melodies follow the same exact program. From Frere Jacques till the day we die, all the melodies will be find the string, find the fret, hold it down, pluck it. And so from day one, you can play all these melodies. The question is, over time, how complex of chords can you get? And when we play fingerstyle, the chords start moving up the fretboard, which means their shapes change, and we start doing all sorts of different faster rhythms, crazier chords. But the basic philosophy is still the same. We're going to play that melody, and as it's appropriate, we're going to put in pieces of the chord underneath the melody, and we end up with this beautiful, beautiful activity, which never seems to get old. I've been doing it now for 20 years, and I'm as excited today to start a new song as I was back then. One of the first Noel I found as I was revising it for the website here, I found my very original in pencil copy of First Noel that I started back before there was really the software existed, but not for ukulele, and so I had to do all these arrangements on tab by hand, and it's actually kind of cute to look through them now about what my brain was thinking back then versus now. But the philosophy is still the same. Put the melody down, and then figure out how much of the chords you get squishing underneath there. We're doing Aloha Oi, Linda. Thanks. And so that's what you'll be thinking about really for a while now is, all right, I got the melody, I can play that. Got the chords, I can play those chords. Now we're going to put them together and play that. Okay, so let's walk through it, and then there's a couple places here where it's a little bit unpleasant and kind of hard, actually. This is a stretch piece. If you're brand new, know that this is really, really hard, and so be patient with yourself and be okay with not being able to do all of it quite yet. Okay, so the first two notes on the tough fugue line, 0, 0. Now I'm going to take my A chord, but I got to add a 4 on for the melody. Okay, so it's a little bit of a stretch there. And I'm going to go grab this 2 with my ring finger probably. And then I'm going to create an A chord, a D chord with my 3 fingers. And I'll leave that first fret open. Pinky on 4. Hit the O, it's still open. And you notice I don't lift up my pinky because there's no reason to. Let it keep ringing. Hit that. Now I have to lift up the pinky to get to the 2. And then I have a partial A chord, 2, 0, 1, and a little rest stroke. And then I have a 1. I'm still already holding that down. Okay, now I'm going to put my 4 back on. Now I switch to an E7 chord, 1, 2, 0, 2. That's an E7 chord. Just play that. Hit the 2 again. I'm going to grab this 1 and then go right back into my E7. Pinky on 5 and then 4. And one more E7. And again. Okay, now the song is going to start over again. So I just pull off my chord. Oh, oh. Now I'm going to put in my A chord. Put my pinky back on 4. Go grab the 2. Grab a D chord. Pinky, 4, O, 2. And then a little A chord here. Rest stroke on the first string. 2 zeros. D chord, 3 strings. Ring finger to grab that other 2. Take it off. This is a little challenging here. It's a 1, 2, and a pinky up on 4. So you're starting with your E7 chord, but then you're just adding your pinky up there on the 4. Now grab the 4 on the first string, 2 on the first string, and then an A chord at measure 8. And again. Okay. Measure 9, you got 3 2s. And then a full D chord. This one you're going to do a bar, pinky on 5. Okay, so bar on 2, pinky on 5. Hit the 2. A couple of A chords, 3 strings, and then 4 strings. And then add your pinky on 4. Okay, those 2 zeros, hit them quickly. Again, the same thing. E7, pinky on 4. Go grab the 2 with your ring finger, put your pinky back, hit the 0, and then a full E7 chord there. 1, 2, 5. A chord, slide your pinky back to 4. And then lose your pinky. Hit the 0, 2, 2, 2. Full D chord, bar, pinky on 5. Hit the 2. A chord, full A chord, pinky on 4. Hit the 0. 1, 2, 4. We've done that before. Hit the 0. Pinky jumps down to 4. Pull back to your ring finger. One last pinky on 4. And then an A chord. And then a little arpeggio pair. And then this is, I put this A chord on here. It's a bar on 4 with the F shape in front of it. To make just to be fancier. You don't necessarily need to do that one. You could just use a regular A chord there as well. Either of those sounds pretty cool. Okay, so we walk through it. Here we go. Game face on. This is hard. If it's too hard, jump up and play the melody line as we're going along. Okay, 1, 2. Q asked the question. In another class of Patty Latin and Paul. Hawaiian born, we follow the now Hawaiian tradition of always singing the song till we meet again at the end of every gathering. Oh yeah, right, very fun. This is an important song in Hawaiian culture. It's up there with Israel Kamakaʻaole's "Over the Rainbow," right? That is that level. But this is traditional, right? And yeah, so. The only thing I always worry about when somebody is telling you this is how we do it in Hawaii, or this is how we do it in Ireland, or this is how we do it in Mexico, or this is how we do it in France. That's how that guy does it in Hawaii or Ireland or France or wherever they're from. So we take that with that would be like if you said, if you say, well, all Americans do it this way, and you're like, that's first of all, no, it's just not. There's not. There are traditions that people follow, but not all people. And so I would say, obviously respect the music, respect the guy who's leading the class, do what he thinks, but take that sort of stuff with a grain of salt. I think. If you go to Hawaii, everybody's going to do this song a tiny bit different, and they should, right? Because it's a great song, but it's a traditional song, so people mess around with it. We did Over the Rainbow. We did it Judy Garland's way every single day for everybody, every singer forever. And then one day here comes Israel Kamakaʻaole around, and he did it different, and you're like, what? Wait a minute. And now everybody does it his way and not Judy's way anymore. So there are traditions, and then there are other traditions. But yeah, I think that's exciting that a native-born Hawaiian is still teaching this music. This is a little bit like Yankee Doodle, it's sort of, I teach it, but not very many people really care about it. So it's that level of tradition, right? All right, from the top. Play the whole thing through, whichever way you feel comfy. 1, 2, 3. Guys, I think I played line 3 twice. I apologize. Let's go to measure 11. I think I went back to line 3 twice. Measure 11, please. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we played it 1.5 times there. I apologize. I got measure 9 and measure 13 are identical, and so I think I think I started on 13, but then I, for some reason, popped it up to 10. So sorry about that. You got the idea, right? Hopefully, with this song, play it slow, let the tones develop, and get used to that sort of uneven rhythm. It's not like bum 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 bum. You know, it has a lot more of a little bit of a shaky, a little bit different rhythm than we're used to hearing on traditional music. Because it comes from a Polynesian tradition and have a little bit different approach to that sort of thing, as which is delightful, and so it gives you a chance to play things a little bit different. Beautiful piece of music, and worth your time, right? This is just we have so little music that was written on a ukulele. Aloha Oi, almost certainly written on a ukulele, almost certainly, and 5'2", almost certainly written for on a ukulele. But that's pretty much it until the 21st century. It's just not a song, an instrument that people created music on. There's lots and lots of music that they use it as accompaniment or use it in arrangements like we do here. I've written a ton of music on this. It's super fun. I don't know why people weren't doing it all along, but they weren't. They were using this as accompaniment to singing other people's music. And so we have very little in the way of a standard repertoire for this instrument. But this is one of those tunes that I feel like, man, this is something that all ukulele players ought to have as part of their study session, because you're playing a song written by the Queen of Hawaii, probably on this. I mean, yeah, that's going to be hard to beat. There's one song, I think it's I want to say Scarborough Fair, but I don't think that they think, oh, it's Henry VIII wrote this song, and there's no evidence of that, but it's sort of a myth that goes around that he wrote it. All right, so there's Aloha Oi, beautiful piece of music. That's enough on that one. I don't want to dig into the higher level stuff with you guys today because we did it yesterday. For Elise and Ode to Joy, remember tomorrow is Friday, so tomorrow's our concert day, and so I'd like for those of you guys that are working on book 2, be ready with For Elise and be ready with Ode to Joy, and then also tomorrow, remember, bring your Make a Better Bar worksheet. That's the one where we go all the way down to fret 12 and then we go all the way back. Make sure you're doing that. Bring your ukulele a circle of fifths. We're going to talk about that, about if with Aloha Oi, if we wanted to change the chords, how would we go about doing that so it fits our singing voice better? Then we're going to play For Elise, Ode to Joy, and then we had a lot of great music this week. So we played Carnival of Venice, Daisy Bell, Key of F Arpeggio, and Aloha Oi. So you got really nice music for tomorrow's concert. And then don't be shy about going up into the next hour's music, the 1 o'clock music, because they've got Silent Night, Old Lang Syne, Adeste Fidelis, First Noel, and Away in a Manger. Every one of those songs has a melody attached to it that you guys should be playing along with. And so even if you aren't able to attend both classes, have that ready, because guess what's going to happen next week? I'm going to dump all that Christmas music into this section as well. I'll probably write different stuff for you guys. I'll try to keep the little bit easier stuff in this hour and the little bit harder stuff in the next hour. But yeah, we're going to go full on Christmas music next week. And we'll clear out all of the rest of the stuff that's sort of been hanging around. And so don't be shy about going and grabbing with now sheet music because you're going to end up playing it as well. And the stuff that's posted there right now tends to be a little bit of the easier stuff. We wanted to get people started. Greensleeves, that's the one. Yeah. Henry VIII wrote it. Oh, really? Okay. And then people believe it. It's prior to the internet, you could say something, and if you said it with enough force and belief, other people would believe it as well, and pretty soon it became the truth. And now with the internet, no matter what you say, nobody believes you at all. The sky is blue. Yeah. Can you prove that? So it's different. Janice, don't sing. Okay, Janice and I are on the same page. Here's the thing with singing. I teach it enough because I know most ukulele players. Well, let's put it this way. When I do my classes and I take a survey, how many of you guys are singers? It's usually 20 to 30% that don't mind singing. That means 70 to 80% of ukulele players don't want to sing. They just don't want to. It's not that they're terrible, or it's just not for them. And so that's why it's kind of weird after me watching YouTube develop and watching how ukulele pedagogy has gone, that it is almost entirely driven by singers who teach you chords, and then that's the way you play ukulele. You go to all of your local ukulele get-togethers, that's going to be how it's done. Nothing wrong with that, but it definitely is playing to the minority, and it's also playing to the teachers who do this tend to be singers, and they're adding this in as one more thing to sell lessons. And I have a very different attitude about this. I am a terrible singer. I don't really care that I'm a terrible singer. I have no intention of getting particularly much better, but I love the sound that comes out of this instrument, the joy and the beauty. And then when you get it right, it's just wow. And it's a small thing that fits in your hand in a rational way, different than, guitar over here. And there's just so many awesome things about it that being able to play and get it to do all the singing for you is incredible. And at the end of the day, our number one ukulele player, the guy who's set the standard for what ukulele is supposed to be, Jake Shimabukuro, he plays instrumentally, right? And so what we're doing is exactly what he does, which is take the melody, add some chords, play them, and it sounds amazing, right? He plays really weird chords at a much higher rate of speed on much longer, more complicated songs. But what he's doing is exactly what I'm teaching you guys. And so, he just has a lot more years of doing it than we do. He grew up since age 4 playing a ukulele, and his entire life is music. And and he puts in 8 hours a day practicing, and we put in 30 minutes a day. So that's what we do around here, Janice, and Janice and I are both going to get along just fine. We're going to keep playing it as an instrumental instrument. The nice part is all music kind of works the same way, and we'll end up with hundreds already pieces of sheet music on the website, and there's hundreds more coming of just the same exact program, and it really, really works, and you'll be really, really happy. I think you'll become a very fine player. Let's see. Lynn says, yay, more Christmas music. Yeah, if you hate Christmas music, you got to get over it because you're musicians now, right? And so musicians, now one of my friends in the orchestra, she's Diane, she's like, I don't know about all this Christmas music. But it's not that she hates it, but as musicians, we have to play it. And so it's just one of those things that we study. And the nice part is the melodies are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. All these super old songs, it takes a really solid melody to stick around for 200 or 300 years. And so we got lots of that coming. Greensleeves is also a tune for What Child Is This? Yeah, Greensleeves will end up being in our Christmas book this year. So Greensleeves is fun because it's in 6/8, but you can also play it in 6, you can play it in 2, and you can also play it in 3, and all of them render you different results. So it's actually a pretty fascinating song to study. So we'll be doing that one as well. Tomorrow, let's play through everything and see how you're doing. And then on Monday is officially the last lesson from lesson 1, and then I'm going to toss in all this Christmas music, so that we'll write out the rest of the year with Christmas music in this hour and in the next hour. So that will kind of motivate me to put up a whole bunch of Christmas music over the time. Again, you guys will get the sort of easier stuff, and then we'll put the little bit harder stuff in the next hour. But ideally, you'll be downloading all of the music and messing around with each of it until you can get that. And then also on Monday night, we're studying the modern Christmas music, the stuff that's under copyright protection, and that kind of stuff. We will. So you will have at the end of this 6-week period a frightening amount of Christmas music. And if I haven't told you guys this yet already or not, you really do want to have a separate binder that you put your Christmas music in. I have a red binder that sits on the shelf from basically the end of December through about the beginning of October. And then I bring it out and I work on nothing but that for the next 2 months. And then I put it back on the shelf. And so don't mix in your Christmas music with your everyday music, because you won't be playing it in January through October. You know you won't. And so get a red notebook and put your Christmas music in there. And again, I just think as musicians, we do end up playing Christmas music, even though we may or may not be following that particular religious tradition. When musicians get together this time of year, the expectation is, yep, you're playing some Christmas music. So, and it's good stuff. So, all right, guys, that's enough for today. Remember, if you are next level book 2, to take some time to review for Elise and Ode to Joy. I would play it today, but I'm sick of it right now. But more importantly, book 1, people, Carnival of Venice, Daisy Bell, Key of F Arpeggio. Those are all 3 beautiful, but all 3 pretty tough tunes. And then Aloha Oe. And then on Monday, we wrap up the intro stuff with Scarborough Fair. And then we will be moving on to, we'll add in some delightful Christmas music, and that's the plan. So hope you guys are having a wonderful day. The new phrase is do a random act of kindness today. Stay safe. In the United States, the virus is completely and totally out of control. So please, 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 you wear a mask, stay away from everybody. Practice, right? Stay home and practice. That's what you got to be doing. Keep showing up to these lessons. Yeah, I know for a fact that if you stop showing up, that's the end of it. So keep showing up, and then like and subscribe if you haven't done that. If you subscribe using your Gmail credentials, then you don't actually have to go to the Jolly Roger site. It goes live on your page prior to, when it's time for me to be live. So that's the reason to subscribe. All right, guys, a little chatty at the end here. Have a wonderful day. I will see some of you in the next hour, and then I will see the rest of you tomorrow, same time. And Janice and I are going to go have some Guinness and talk about how we don't like to sing. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.